Hello everybody. I've been MIA on this page for a while. Today is April 30th and I'll be so honest, I think the last time I made a serious art project was February 2nd. So since then I've done a little bit of sketching here and there, but for the most part I just haven't really been dedicating any time to getting into it. And I think the biggest thing about art is being consistent. I guess starting KB officially, it just put all this extra pressure on me to do good and to, I don't know, just consistently create even times when I didn't feel like creating. I want to get back into it, just slowly practice everything, and I want to also learn my art style, which is so funny. I'm going to insert a clip from like almost 3 months ago when I was talking about getting into my art style, so BRB. Hey everyone, it's Alexis, and if you didn't know, I started my YouTube channel for KB in December 2023, and I've just been trying to branch out into the whole art YouTube side of things, and I've kind of been enjoying it so far, but it's kind of been slow. One thing I definitely don't love as somebody who's not like a professional artist is just not really knowing my style. I know people always say not to really box yourself in, but it's something that I kind of feel like I'm missing. I think you shouldn't just stick to one style, like you should be diverse, but for me, I feel like I notice I tend to like certain things. I tend to be good at that, and when I just try to branch out to do things that are completely different, it just doesn't work for me. If I start with what I'm good at and then I branch into those things, it always works out. So for this video, I definitely want to kind of figure out what my art style is. I guess it just takes practice, and hopefully I kind of figure that out soon. But I know I love certain things. Like in terms of objects, I love to draw eyes. That's my favorite part of anatomy. I'm really good at it. I whipped this up in like 3 minutes at work one day, even though it's like a kind of different style, because I like the whole realism style. Again, you can still see I had that strong base because I'm very familiar with that anatomy. I also love the mediums of charcoal and graphite. I usually tend to go with graphite because it's easy to just kind of pick up a pencil and keep it moving. But yeah, for me, I just want to know what I can work with. And so I think I'm going to start with those things: making eyes, graphite, charcoal, and then trying to branch out into different styles. Like instead of just realism, maybe I can do like a cartoon eye, and then maybe go into, I don't know, this cultural type of eye, and then maybe I can draw an eye in acrylic paint, then I can do it in, I don't know, oil pastel. I just want to try different things. So that's exactly what this video is going to be about, just watching me develop my art style. Hopefully by the end of the month. Don't be giving myself a time constraint. It is February 8th, by the way, 2024. Hopefully by the end of the month, I will be very content with my art style. So yeah, so that was about 2-ish months ago, almost 3 months ago, and I have yet to really figure out exactly what my art style is. So in this video, I just want to explore different things. I want to do different styles, maybe not try different mediums yet, just definitely work with what I'm comfortable with, and just give you guys like a little update. So just like my first little vlog, which is kind of crazy. Hey everybody, so it's been like maybe a week or two since I filmed that last bit of footage, and guess what? I have not worked on a single art piece. So for this video, I just want to change the direction of things. So I thought I was gonna have like a cute like, oh, I've been working on my art, but in these last 2 weeks, I've really been thinking of, ooh, I'm recording my audio, and like, girl, I guess I'm too close to my mic. I've just been thinking about how to be an artist and just stuff like that. The reason why I love art is because I just get to create and just have fun. But I think this whole thing of like putting so much pressure on myself to like be an artist and grow and stuff like that, that has just made art so, it's made it like a hassle, and I notice I just don't really create as much. One thing that's just like my love that I've low-key kind of abandoned is photography. You guys know, like, I absolutely love photography. I really was like, this is something I want to do in like 2019. I was like 17, and that year for Christmas I got my first camera. This is my Canon Rebel T6. It's an entry level DSLR, but she is my girl. I have the 2 like basic starter lenses, and then I also bought this 50mm lens, which is good for like self-portraits and just stuff like that. Like at some point I stopped doing photography because it started to become more of a hassle. Then I started to get into like traditional art forms like drawing and graphite and stuff like that. At some point that became a hassle because then I started being like, well, I want to like maybe do something with art, like have a business or whatever. And it's just like at some point I just started feeling so drained. In these last few months, the last 2 weeks, whatever, since the last time I filmed, I've just been thinking about like ideas, not thinking like, oh my gosh, I need to make a video, or oh my gosh, whenever I start my business, how can I sell, like what should I sell? I've just been thinking, what is so fun, like what is something that will inspire me? And I have had so many things that I literally sent to my like art brand page. Like I literally follow so many like artists and photographers on my personal page, and if I see something I'm like I will literally send it to myself. Like I literally have stuff from my own personal art page. Like I saw this the other day. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the username because it's like so difficult, but you guys cannot see it. I'm so angry. But this is like a very abstract portrait. And then I have stuff like reels of people working on their pieces and just seeing creative techniques that they use. And just stuff like how people, when they do have their business, how do they promote and advertise their illustrations? Like stuff like that is just so inspiring to me. But I think the point is they are just working and they're just showing their work. And some people aren't even like trying to sell, they're just showing their art. And then at some point, if they grow enough, they just literally so much. If they grow so much, they just eventually get monetized for it, or they'll sell like prints of it or stickers of it. But usually that comes in time. But for me, I stopped practicing so much because I was just like, well, I should be making stuff that I would sell or that I would feel is perfect for social media. And then I started literally making rush art and putting it on social media. It's like, that's not even like a reflection of me. So in these last few weeks, I've been going back to the Pinterest board, and I have a whole dedicated Pinterest board. If you guys want to follow my personal Pinterest, y'all definitely can. It's koi.lex. But on there, I have so many different like boards, but the main one is art and craft ideas. So I have this for like my small business, and then also just for other forms of art. I used to have like them in these neat mini boards, but I just gave up on that. So like earlier today, I was looking up portrait photography, and so I have like all of these. I have stuff in color, I have stuff in black and white, I have stuff with different people, different backgrounds, different like ways of showcasing that, and then also just illustrations, like different type of techniques. I'm not very biased when it comes to art, because to me, art is beautiful when it's like, you can tell it was a lot of work that was put into this, a lot of detail, a lot of thought. They were trying to convey some type of emotion, not something that's just like, they just posted it. I've been looking at all this, and I think for me, it's just like, girl, just get up and do it. This week, I actually planned a photo shoot with one of my buddies that I've known since like middle school. I'm gonna meet up with her and then a mutual like buddy we have. That'll be later on, and I'll probably have that video for you guys like maybe next week. I'm gonna rearrange the content to do something that just feels more energized for me over the next week. Today is May 12th, by the way. So over this next week, I'll just be showcasing all these old videos that I never got around to. I filmed so many art videos, including my birthday video that was supposed to go up 2 months ago. All that will be posted, but I want to do a lot more stuff that just feels very natural. A lot of times when I work on my art, I just work on my art behind the scenes. It's very uncomfortable for me to just like set up the camera and be like, oh my god, is my hand in the way? Like, can you see what I'm working? Stuff like photography, I feel like that would be more natural. Like if I was to go out and about with friends like I'm gonna do on Tuesday, and like there's like a behind the scenes vlog, and like to me that's so much more natural. Or when I do art, I can see myself filming like a challenge, but not actually sitting here like, this is my art process video, and doing like little voiceover, like trying to like, I don't know, do stuff that's just not me. It may work for other art YouTubers, but not me. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna make a list of everything that I want to do. So I have my computadora, and I will be just writing things out. Give me a minute to adjust my setup. Setup is adjusted, I think. For my first category, I want to have photography. So I'm just gonna write down a list of things that I like, stuff that I go for, stuff that just like in my head I've been thinking about. So portrait photography. I want to work on poses, learning how to pose models and stuff like that, because I'm just not very familiar with that. Detailed product photography. A lot of times when I do product photography, I like stuff that's just very like, this is the product, boom, and it's a very nice like solid color background, which isn't bad, but I like how people pose the background. That's something that with my small business has always been a little bit uncomfortable for me, because it's like I don't know how to accessorize my product, if that makes sense. And I'm especially not someone that's like a hand model and stuff like that, even though I want to get into that as well. I also want to explore my city more. There's some artists I love, like there's one photographer, his name is Blandis, and he loves to showcase his city, people in his city, especially people who were raised with where he grew up, friends, stuff like that. So city, showcasing the city, those are the main things that stick out to me. So if I want to add anything, I'll come back to that. In terms of, I'm gonna say traditional art. When I think of traditional art, I'm thinking of like on paper. So for traditional art, I'm not going to say something broad like trying new mediums. I want to play around with my oil pastel technique. So as you guys know, I tried the oil pastels a few months ago and I love them. But one thing about the oil pastels I have, at least, is that they are very kind of like fluffy. But one thing I have noticed with people who work with pastels is that they do very good blending. So maybe that's the part that I was missing. So blending work with oil pastels, and I'm just gonna put in like parentheses like other, I don't know, like other 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 techniques. I also want to work on portraits and poses, work on facial features, being creative without a reference. I'm a good artist, but I do love realism, but certain things that I can't really see or don't have a reference, it's very hard for me to like come up with my own thing. Like I feel like a lot of my like I created it is more present in like my writing, but in terms of like being an artist, stuff like that, like I just don't naturally like have a vision and know how to bring it to life, especially with people, because I'm like the proportions may not be right and all that. But just like learning how to like build my style slowly, but it also makes sense. It looks very intentional. That's something that like I'm still growing as an artist. Being creative without a reference, just something I just need to practice a lot on. Taking a reference and creating art in different styles. So again, a lot of times I like see something and I draw it like it is. Looking at myself, I would draw myself as accurately as I could. But could I draw myself as like an animated character? Could I draw myself in maybe a different cultural style? Could I draw myself in a very abstract style and feel comfortable with that? That's something I want to work on. Those are the main things for traditional art. Oh, also just stuff like becoming comfortable with paints. I hate paint. I think the idea of painting feels a lot better than actually painting, but I do love like a very Van Gogh. It's not a perfect blending, but just like I can just go over it, and if I don't like it, I'll just go over it, blah 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 blah. But the whole like blending and having this perfect stroke, like that's not me at all. I feel very pressured to have my first bits of my piece look like the end, and if let's say I'm painting a face, if it doesn't look like that face at the beginning, I feel very discouraged. So I'm trying to learn how to just like make a mess, but it's a very intentional mess, like just to have fun with it and not feel discouraged because it doesn't look like what I want it to look like from the beginning. That's my main stuff for traditional art. For graphic design, I love when they like play with like different fonts and stuff like that. So I can say be creative with fonts. Another thing as a small business owner is that I want to not just be a photographer who has a business, but someone that's like, you would think I hired me to do my portrait. Does that make sense? Like I want to market my stuff and be very creative with it. So I see some people that put like words over the images, or again they pose their pictures. So for my graphic design, I would say work on market ability and advertisement. Another thing is just I love a very like modern, simplistic type of vibe, but I also feel like a lot of times when I then create stuff, I feel like it's very simple, and simple isn't bad, but to me it's very boring. Simple but not boring. Those are my main things for graphic design. I also, especially this is more of the photography side, I want to work on retouching, especially skin. That's something that I'm just kind of nervous about. A lot of times in my photography, I like my picture to be very like good off bat, so even if I edit it, it's very very minimal editing. But again, I don't really work with like humans a lot, so stuff like skin retouching and stuff like that, that's something that I kind of avoid and I haven't had much practice with. So I just want to like test my waters and just go for something a little bit out of my comfort zone. Being familiar with different programs, especially, oh my gosh, Photoshop. There are certain things on Lightroom I'm not familiar with, so I'll just put that too. For video editing, Premiere Pro. If you guys didn't know, I had a Premiere Pro subscription for the longest time, and like literally I just gave up on it. I paid for it for a year and didn't even use it because like I tried it twice and I just never got into it. It was just so hard. I just gave up and I just stuck with iMovie. So I want to feel like I can use something like that and not feel intimidated out of it. So we have photography, traditional art, we have graphic design. I guess I'll just do general art things. I want to focus on emotion. What emotion do I want to convey? I want to focus on storytelling. I love artists that when you look at it, it's not just a pretty picture, it's not just a pretty piece, or even musical artists, it's not just a song, it's something that it makes you feel something, and it's something that's easy to understand. Like, it's something that is very deep, it's very like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Like, was something going on at home? Something that just like, it makes you overwhelmed. Something that makes you so intrigued by it that you have to come back to it. I want to be able to do that. And I guess like me, besides photography, I also love cinematography, videography. And with that being said, I also want to slowly build into that, but I'm going to push that back a little bit later on. So right now, I guess these are my main things. I think one more list I'll do: art concepts that I'd like to practice. So I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to go and just look at like challenges that I saved, and oh my god, where's my phone? I want to try to find different little things that I've saved: self-portraits, color, nature. I'm not really a nature photographer, but I want to get into it, just try it. Fashion, but I like street fashion type of photography, so I'll just put that in parentheses, streets. Those are the main things that are like catching my eye, because the rest of these are like challenges, but not like a very specific type of challenge. One thing I want to do is a collage. I want to do a collage with both traditional art and then with photography. So collage, and then a lot of these other ones I see stuff like your favorite flower, zodiac sign, musical instrument, like stuff to just draw for fun. But I guess these are the main things that I want to try, I want to do. I don't know. I guess for me, I want to just be better about what I post on social media, things I do. My goal, I need to revise my goals. My goals, I just want to be consistent. Y'all, I just closed my laptop while I was recording. Did it stop my recording? It did. I just want to be consistent with everything I do. I do want to grow KB. I do want to post regularly, but I don't want to put myself on a schedule necessarily. I would say a minimum of like 3 times a week on all platforms. I want to start stuff like Pinterest and just like slowly build, slowly practice. Everything recently is that I have decided to go back into writing. That's something that has always been my passion, but I just like drifted away from it for a while. So I have put that in my schedule too. So it may sound like a lot, but I think for me, I've had time to rest post undergrad. I've had time to think, clarify, just get stuff together. So for me, even if I just take 15 minutes a day, that's better than no minutes a day. So I don't want to focus on like making a pretty beautiful piece. I just want to like grab my like crayons, markers, my oil pastels, my graphite, and just like, if I can just do a quick portrait of myself for a few minutes, like I would rather do that. That way I'm doing something, and something is better than nothing, if that makes sense. I think for me, my head is just better about KB. This next week I will be showing you guys a lot of old videos, and once I believe next week comes, you'll see a lot more updated stuff. Hope that the quality is better. I will try to make things more personal, more fun. They may be shorter video stuff, but either way, you guys will definitely just see a better, more developed KB. And in a few months, I do intend on launching KB as a small business, but I'm not gonna give any details yet. I'm gonna make sure everything is completely put together before I even say anything else. But with that being said, I've been talking y'all to death so far. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys would like to support me, my art journey, and like that, definitely follow, subscribe. I also have TikTok, Instagram, and hopefully I'll make a Pinterest soon. Thank you guys for your support. And if you guys want to follow my personal page or my small business page, that's also linked to this YouTube channel. Thank you guys. With that being said, you have an amazing day. Bye.